If I told you I was surprised, I'd be a liar. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you an update on Timothy Simpkins. He has been arrested yet again for violating the terms of his bond, and he is back in jail right now out there in Tarrant County, Texas, which is, I guess, the Arlington area. Now, if you don't know who I'm talking about, if you don't know what's going on, why he was on bond to begin with, let's back up. Now, Timothy Simpkins is the 18-year-old adult who brought his gun to his high school where he attended and shot it up. Okay, he shot, I think, 2 or 3 people, maybe 4 people. One person he shot directly. He was the target. And others were shot just because it happened to be around in the area. They getting hit with bullet fragments. They getting grazed with bullets. That was the whole thing. Now, here you have an 18-year-old adult black male who did not get shot by the police when they came to the school, who was not given some kind of really crazy, terms of his incarceration. He was given bond. He was able to be let out. And when they let him out, he had a whole family at his house. His family members all around him. They're smiling and everything's all good. He's got Sprite and Kentucky Fried Chicken and all types of stuff, okay? Everybody smiles. Everybody's all hugs. It's all good. You didn't know you just shot 3 or 4 people inside of a school, but it's okay when you go home. It's not really a problem. There's no shame in your game. There's no anger toward you. There's no feeling of, well, hey man, you gotta go to the penitentiary. You shouldn't even be here right now. There's no shame. There's no admonishment. It's, oh, hey man, welcome home. It's all good. You didn't do nothing, all this, that, and the third. When he got caught red-handed inside the school shooting people, right? And remember the narrative behind it. Oh, he was being bullied, ABL. He was being bullied, so he had to defend himself. Let's just pause for a minute on that note. First of all, that was false. He was not being bullied. The black police chief out there in Arlington came out on TV and said that he wasn't being bullied. Let's just eliminate that possibility. It was some other stuff. He had a beef with that particular person that he shot. That was the issue. He had a beef with him, allegedly, over some drugs, allegedly. Not really sure about that part. But what I am sure about is what the police chief said, and that this was not a case of bullying. He was not being bullied. He targeted one person. That person got shot up, almost died, was fighting for his life for a minute, and then he shot others because they happened to be standing by. That's what happened, okay? And let's just say he was being bullied. Let's go down that road right quick. Let's say he was being bullied. Is that a reason to go shoot a school up? Is that an excuse to shoot a school up? I don't think so, because there's been plenty of other school shootings where the person was a loner and they were being bullied and they had a hit list, right? They had a hit list of people that they wanted to shoot. Why? Because maybe they had been mistreated by them. Maybe they didn't like them. Maybe they were envious. Maybe they were jealous. Whatever the case may be, people shoot up schools or conspire to shoot up schools because of bullying sometimes. It doesn't make it right. If you go to a school and shoot it up, you are in the wrong. Period. Point blank. So anybody trying to say, oh, well, he was being bullied, it wasn't no. Let's not do that. And then they try to compare it to Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse, he defended himself, and, same thing, Timothy Simpkins. Really? If you bring your weapon to school and then attack a particular guy you have a beef with, is that the same thing as being attacked by others outside? You're running away from the situation and then you shoot them as a result to defend yourself. That's not the same thing at all. You targeted somebody, you brought your gun to school. That's much different, completely different, night and day different. Okay, just legally is different because you cannot bring your handgun inside of a high school at all, first of all. Second of all, you have the right to bring your long gun outside in the Kenosha, Wisconsin area or in Wisconsin in general. That's the law. Now that I've got that out the way and off my chest, let's go back to this whole arrest thing. Now, what happened? Why is Timothy Simpkins back in jail? Well, the terms of his bond said you cannot consume alcohol or do any drugs. And allegedly, his urine test came back dirty, meaning he failed his drug test. I'm not sure what the drug was, probably weed, because that was allegedly the whole thing to begin with. Okay, he shot somebody over a weed deal, allegedly. allegedly. And then there was some pictures allegedly on Instagram with him and some weed and a gun. So it probably was he could not stop smoking weed. Probably. Now, if he's on some kind of other drug, it's even worse. But let's talk about weed right quick. Sometimes people say that weed is harmless and it's not really a big deal, but I beg to differ. Depending upon who you are, you might be a person that has a strong will and you're not really a dope fiend. You don't have the dope fiend mentality. But a lot of people do have that dope fiend mentality. They can't keep themselves off drugs, whatever the drug may be. I mean, you're talking about alcohol, weed, tobacco, crack, cocaine, heroin, whatever it is. Some drugs are more of an addictive thing than others. But at the end of it, I think people that have that dope fiend mind state, that addictive mind state, can't get off the drugs. I mean, lay off the weed. You done shot a school up. All you got to do is abstain from drugs and alcohol at 18 years old. You can't do that, you're a dope fiend, period. And somebody said, hey, man, you know what? You shot 4 people. You're out on bond right now. You can live at home with your family. Everything's all good. But if you smoke weed or drink some alcohol, you're going to go right back to jail and you're not coming out no time soon. Matter of fact, you're not coming out no more for about a good 20 years because you're going to get found guilty and they're going to send you right to the penitentiary from the prison. I mean, from the jail. If I was told that, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm not going to do no drugs. I'm going to enjoy my freedom while I can. But he couldn't do that. So this arrest, in my humble opinion, destroys the victim narrative. It destroys the bullying narrative. And it just proves the point that I make all the time. A lot of these guys that get in trouble like this, they do the same thing over and over and over and over again. They keep getting in trouble. They can't stay out of trouble. They're troublemakers. This is the case all over the country. A lot of these big cities, you go to California, New York, Illinois, everywhere. You have the same problem. It's the same people that do the same crimes over and over again. And a lot of them are pretty young black men, young Asian, white, Hispanic, whatever it is. They're pretty young. And then what happens a lot of times is you have these judges who get really soft. Oh, he's 15 years old. He's a black male. He didn't have a dad in his life, blah, blah, blah. Let's give him a light sentence. Let's let him get out on bond. He didn't do anything. He'll turn his life around. And then you go right back to smoking weed. I mean, really? All you got to do is not smoke weed. You can't do that. And you know what? The reason why these guys keep doing wrong, they keep getting locked up, is because they think there's no real penalty. At a certain point, these people aren't that dumb. I mean, they're dumb because, if you're going to be bringing the gun to school and shooting it like ain't nothing going on, that's silly. I mean, but they also understand that there are certain consequences for their actions. And they're trying to test their, it's like little kids. They test their boundaries, see what they can do, what they can get away with. That's kind of how a lot of these people are. And if they see that they can continue to sell drugs with no problem, they can continue to use drugs with no problem. They can go shoot up a school and they get sent home. They get a family, fried chicken, Sprite, all that good stuff. If they see that happening, they're like, all right, well, I could pretty much do whatever I want. I'm invincible. Can't nobody do nothing to me. What you gonna do? And then they keep committing crime. Then they keep doing the wrong thing. And this happens over and over and over and over and over again, to the point where in a place like Baltimore, Maryland, you might have a guy that's been arrested 80 times by the age of 25, 50 times by the age of 21. Okay, because there's no penalty for their action, and the record shows it. If you've been arrested that many times, that means you're not really going to jail, let alone to the penitentiary, because you have time to keep getting arrested, getting released, getting arrested, getting released over and over again. Okay. And if you've been arrested 80 times for a particular thing or for different things, you've done that more than 80 times, but you didn't get caught. Maybe you were arrested one time for 20 offenses and they just put them together in one arrest. You see what I'm saying? If I were a king, if I could rule by fiat, I would say, let's bring that crime bill back. How about that? Let's bring it back, because obviously what we're doing right now ain't working. We're trying to go the opposite direction. People were getting unfair sentences back then that weren't really violent, that weren't really necessarily repeat offenders. But now we're having the repeat offenders. Now we're having just pure anarchy, chaos, and lawlessness. I would bring that crime bill back. Send it to the penitentiary. You want to be out here terrorizing the community, shooting the school up. You're not going to be able to get bond. You're not going to be able to go home and have a family party. Ain't going to be no family reunion after you done shot up a school. You're going straight to the penitentiary. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go straight to the joint and don't come back. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this Timothy Simpkins case out there in Arlington, Texas, and the Dallas-Fort Worth area? All right, you bring a gun to school, you shoot it up, you shoot like 3 or 4 people, you get arrested, you get out on bond immediately, you smoke some weed or some other kind of drug, and go right back to jail, where you should have been from the beginning. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, common sense here would say, rather than giving them the bond, keep him in jail. Obviously, that's where he belongs. That's where he wants to be. Just let him be there. If you shoot a school up or something crazy like that, that should be where you go. It shouldn't really be any other way to interpret or try to figure out what to do with you. I'm just saying. And other crimes that are similar in nature, violent crimes, crazy drug offenses. You're selling fentanyl on the street, people dying, killing over 100,000 deaths in the country from fentanyl and heroin, other kind of drugs. We need to be smarter on how we fight crime rather than trying to fight crime from the feelings perspective, from the emotional, from where it hits your fifis and your heartstrings. We can't do that anymore. We got to do what's right only. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.